I got 21 platinum trophies by my 21st birthday. Or 21 and a half, if I want to be picky. It was quite the journey, and you can all come on it with me through the power of the internet. Also, it was my birthday on the 3rd of September, in case you didn't know. I'm an adult now. Apparently. Know what else I am? I am a simp for video game trophies on the PlayStation. I don't obsessively chase after them to the point of making a career out of it, or neglecting to touch grass, but I have been conditioned over the years to seek that trophy pop sound as a reliable way to activate the oranges in my brain, and there's none that feel better to achieve than the Platinum Trophy, the reward for getting every single trophy in the game and a true mark of completion. Until the DLC comes out. I am a very casual Platinum hunter. If I really like a game, I'll Platinum it if I can, but it's not an obsession. I have plenty of those already. I just like the feeling of doing everything that the game has to offer, and the Platinum Trophy is often a good roadmap to achieve that. As we came into 2023 and my 21st birthday was coming up, I noticed I had a fair few Platinum Trophies by this point, and I thought it'd be a cool idea to try and get 21 of them by the day of my birthday, and so the plan was made. A roadmap was forged, that I followed with all the discipline and structure of the DC Extended Universe's long-term planning team. And as such, I got the last trophy on my list with less than 10 minutes to go before my time was up. Just like high school. But it was a fun journey to undertake, and as such, I'm here to tell you a little bit about my experience. Warning, there will be minor to major spoilers discussed for the following games. God of War 3, Spider-Man 2018, God of War 4, Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham City, Batman Arkham Knight, Bloodborne, Batman Arkham Origins, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, Skyrim, Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition, Fate Extella Link, God of War Ragnarok, Doom Eternal, Minecraft, Elden Ring, Dark Souls 3, and the recently released Final Fantasy 16. If you would like to avoid spoilers for any or all of the following games, you can either use the timestamps in the description, or you can simply not watch the video. Now, let's get right back to the video. Now, I did set myself some rules for this challenge. No auto-pop trophies, as in I can't transfer my save data from PS4 to PS5 and automatically get a platinum trophy that way. That's cheating. Duplicate games. This is a little bit of an odd one, as I had already platinumed PS3 and PS4 versions of Batman Arkham Asylum and City years before I dreamt of achieving this challenge, so I decided to let them be exempt from this rule, as younger Matt didn't know what the future held. But from January 2023 onwards, any duplicate games across multiple versions would only count for half a point, unless I 100% the game as well, as in all the DLC trophies. Then it would be a complete entry. This is only applicable to a couple of entries on the list, so I'll be sure to point those out. And the third rule is something I'll get into a little bit later. But for now, let's get into the journey, going all the way back to the beginning, in the dark ages of 2018.
Zeus! Your son has returned. I bring the destruction of Olympus!
Fittingly, we enter first into the darkest age of the Olympian gods, with God of War 3 Remastered. I'd played the original a couple of years earlier and absolutely loved it. For a long time, it was my favourite hack and slash game ever. When the remaster came out on PlayStation Plus for free, I snapped it up immediately and got right back into the action. I noticed after a while I only had a couple of trophies left to go in order to get the platinum, and had the impulse of, hey, let's give this a shot. All you really have to do to get the platinum for this game is beat the game on hard mode. Easy. Beat the labyrinth without dying. Easy-ish. Beat the challenges of Olympus. Easy once you actually know what you're doing, and get a 1000 hit combo. Excuse me? Where am I gonna find a man who can be hit 1000 times without falling over? Max Holloway? Thankfully, all we need to do to find a worthy candidate is descend into the deepest depths of hell. A crypto Discord server. It's here where we find a noble skeleton man, and I promptly tear his inner demons out of his body before sending them right back into him. Repeat 50 times and walk away with a sweet, sweet platinum. First one down, 20 to go. Nice and easy. Surely it can't get worse than that, right? Right? My next platinum would come 1 week later, in a way that was so natural I didn't even realize that I was platinum hunting. Spider-Man PS4 is the 5th greatest superhero video game of all time. Yes, I said what I said. And the platinum in this game is one done absolutely perfectly. Basically, beat all of the content in the game. GG easy. Considering how fun this game is to play, this was a pleasure completing all the various side quests and different missions. The only annoying part was swinging around various parts of the city for 10 minutes straight going, please somebody commit a minor crime, I need 2 more in order to get my naked suit. God of War 4 remains possibly my favourite video game ever, tied with its sequel and a newcomer. The new mythology with an older and wiser Kratos blends together into a perfect action-adventure, while also showcasing the growing bond between Kratos and Atreus. The gameplay moved from frantic hack and slash into a slower, weightier style with various RPG elements, and it was all crafted to near perfection. The Platinum Trophy for this game was a bit slower to get than others, not because of beating Sigrun, one of the hardest bosses in gaming history, not because of needing to find all the giant shrines or craft specific armor sets, not even because of needing to finish Niflheim, though that place can go die for all I care. No, the real reason I took a while to platinum this game is... birds. The bird is the word. Or they would be, if I could fucking find them. After more than a year of 0 platinum trophies, I got the desire to go back and beat the Batman Arkham games to completion, given that all of them rank among my favourites of all time. Starting of course with Arkham Asylum on PS4, I only had 2 things to do. I needed to beat a Titan without using batarangs, which just takes a bit of brainpower and careful maneuvering to achieve, and get all the medals for the combat and predator maps. This takes substantially more effort. Combat maps are easy. Beat up everyone using all of your moves and gadgets at least once, don't get hit and get a flawless combo streak, and you've got 3 medals. Yes, it's easier said than done, but I'm pretty good at this game. Given how Asylum's combat is very fun even today, as I explain in this handy video over here that you should please watch, this makes these actually fun to attain. The thing that grinds my fucking gears is the predator maps. You'd think, just take everybody out in a quick time, right? No, you need to do specific takedowns and challenges to get the medals. This sucks, because a lot of them are dependent on specific enemy behaviours with this dated AI, meaning luck can play a major factor into whether you'll get the chance or not. But with enough patience and perseverance, you can get through it. Then you do the extreme versions, where all the gargoyles are mined, and the challenges are harder. Every single one of these extreme maps counts as crimes under the Geneva Convention, especially you. But I did it, and I was happy, seeing as I'd never need to do them again. Right? It was at this point that I moved on to Batman Arkham City on PS4 and began hunting the Platinum Trophy. The first COVID lockdown for New Zealand had just hit us, so it's not like I had much else to do at the time. However, my PS4 controller decided now was the optimal time for it to break, leaving me unable to play my PS4 for the entirety of the lockdown. So, I did the next best thing, and went back to the PS3. Now, I don't actually have any footage of Arkham Asylum on PS3 because recording one of those requires the will of God, but I think I can come up with a suitable compromise to simulate the graphical downgrade. Yep, there we go. I beat Arkham Asylum again on that console, doing those miserable challenge maps all over again, and I collected another platinum trophy for the utility belt. And no, it was not any easier the second time round. Then it was time for Arkham City on PS3, seeing as my PS4 controller replacement wouldn't arrive for another few weeks. This platinum actually required more than just challenge maps, thankfully, namely collecting Riddler trophies, all 440 of them, which is clearly so much more enjoyable. Though, to be honest, it was actually not as bad as I'd thought, surprisingly, seeing as I'd never done it before. Even the problematic riddles were easily solved by my more advanced gamer mind and the aid of the internet. That being said, I still had to do the challenge maps, and they were just as bad here as they were in Asylum. In fact, I'd say they were worse, significantly. You have to get all 72 medals, 36 for combat and 36 for predator, and there are some real tough challenges in here, top of the world extreme being my biggest enemy. Then you need all 108 medals on the campaigns, which are 3 challenge maps back to back with mandatory modifiers, meaning you have to ace 3 of the hardest challenge maps the game can throw at you without dying, all in a row, needing to do all stealth challenges to get the medals, while applying debuffs over the course of the campaign to make it even harder. Of course, I could just dump the majority of the debuffs onto the combat stages and use my skill to compensate, but sometimes that wasn't an option with the way the maps were laid out, and I had to go through these bastard predator maps with crucial parts of my gear disabled, or the enemies tougher than ever. This was a damn tough test, and I am proud of myself for getting through it, but I never wanted to do it again after it was all over. Except that's exactly what I did in Return to Arkham City once I got a new PS4 controller. God damn it, why do I do these things to myself? No, the fact I have duplicate games here does not count towards my self-imposed penalties because this was back in 2020, over 3 years before I had my idea for the 21 Platinum Challenge. Just thought I'd clear that up. So, I'd platinumed Arkham Asylum and Arkham City both twice over. There was only one game left in the trilogy for me to take care of. Batman Arkham Knight. This was both one of the easiest platinums and one of the hardest 100%, and is possibly, overall, the greatest gaming accomplishment I have as of yet. The platinum trophy was, all things considered, easy enough. I have to beat the game to 100% and do New Game Plus, standard stuff. I still had to do challenge maps, but these challenge maps are so much easier to max out on than in the last 3 games. And thanks to the DLC maps, I can actually afford to only beat some of them and still get enough stars to get all the trophies. How good is that? The hardest thing about the platinum was the weird side trophies like do 8 big jumps in the Batmobile or glide under all 3 bridges of Gotham in one go. With some help from the internet, these were taken care of in good time, and we moved swiftly on. Except we didn't. I loved this game. I wanted to get 100%. My trophy obsession was starting to develop at this point, and so I dived headfirst into the DLCs. For the most part, it was easy, I'd already done most of it. Beat the character DLC episodes. Takes less than an hour, with the exception being Batgirl's episode, as you do need to hunt for some collectibles in there. Get some medals with every Batmobile and every alternate character. No sweat at all. Beat the DLC missions. Why of course, they're some of the best in the game. Where things get crazy is this last little tab here. The Community Challenge Packs. This fucking collection of trophies. You need to beat some of the hardest challenge maps in the game, fulfilling special conditions as multiple characters, such as beating a very tough combat challenge map, the Monarch Theater, as Batman, Catwoman, Robin, and Nightwing, while having a flawless free flow combo over all rounds as each one. This took me an entire afternoon of swearing and constant restarts to pull off. Or how about doing the Batcave Predator challenge while only using beatdowns as both Batman and Nightwing, without taking damage? Yeah, not fun. The worst one is Requiem for a Killer, where you need 1,050,000 points in an endless combat horde. And then you need to fight Killer Croc, and win. So basically, you need a flawless combo of around 450, while the enemies are all brutes, electrified militia, and wielding weapons while constantly being revived. Wonderful. And to think I used to believe 139,000 points was an impressive accomplishment. However, I persevered, and finally ended up achieving this trophy, with a score of around 1,600,000, which is my greatest Batman Arkham feat to date. Who knows, one day I might go back to surpass it. But with that, the Batman Arkham Platinum Collection is complete. What about Arkham Origins, you ask? Well, we'll get there in a bit. But now, it's time to move on to a completely different style of game. We've seen several kinds of Platinum trophies on this list already. Ones that require tedious grinds, ones that require large amounts of skill, ones that require a lot of collecting, ones that require all of the above. Bloodborne has what I'd call the best kind of Platinum trophy. All you need to do is beat every boss, collect every weapon and tool, and unlock every ending. You have natural incentive to do those things anyway, seeing as the story is great and every weapon is fun to use and experiment with. It's just natural. The DLC even has the same requirements for its trophies, so I cleaned that one up as well. It will take a bit of googling here and there to find your way around, but this was one of the best Platinum trophies to get because it just comes so naturally and doesn't require a super tedious grind. Oh, you do have to beat the Chalice dungeons though. Feels like I should have mentioned that earlier. The Final Fantasy VII Remake Platinum is one that encompasses everything a Platinum trophy can be, all wrapped up in a huge amount of required time. However, this is one of my favourite Platinums I have, because it really does require you to experience all of the game, which is always the best thing about these trophy hunts. You need to beat the game on hard mode, which is one of the best hard modes I've ever experienced in a video game. You need to obtain all weapons, you need to obtain all 9 bridal dresses, which is easily the biggest grind the game has to offer, and you need to beat every secret boss. Doing this all was a really fun time, helped by just how much I love this game, to the point where even repeating side quests 3 times wasn't enough to make me annoyed. I'll be repeating it for Integrate eventually, as well as all the new trophies, and I'll do so with a smile on my face. Oh, and in case you're wondering, the hardest part about it was trying to beat the pull-up challenge. I spent 40 whole minutes trying to beat this man, and no, I do not regret my life decisions. We interrupt your regularly unscheduled YouTube video for me to complain about something. Batman Arkham Origins. I love it. It's my second favourite Arkham game depending on the day, containing the best average boss fights, the best story, the best DLC, and it definitely deserves a modern console remaster. Unfortunately, one thing it did have was a multiplayer. I don't know if that's good or bad by itself, I never played it, but that multiplayer came with trophies. Trophies which I will never be able to get because the multiplayer is shut down. Because fuck me, I guess. I have done every offline trophy, aced the challenge maps, beat I Am the Night mode, and even 100%ed Cold Heart, but that sweet platinum will never be within my grasp. Hence, I count Arkham Origins as half a point towards my platinum count, because it is literally out of my control. The moral of the story is, game developers, please stop including multiplayer trophies in single player focused games. What do you think the subcategories are for, you absolute donkeys? And now back to your regularly unscheduled platinum trophy flex. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2's platinum is for the most part about completionism and nothing more. Get all the things, do all the things, get all the trophies, easy. The only thing I didn't have was some online match wins, but after playing with my friends for a bit, during which I most certainly didn't get my ass kicked over and over, I got a long overdue platinum. Wow, this video's really been going for a while, huh? Quite the journey we're going on. Maybe we should take a brief rest.
Hey, you. Finally awake.
Platinuming Skyrim on the PS4 was a journey 5 years in the making, slowed down by the fact I insisted on documenting my journey in a mediocre Let's Play series. Please don't watch that. But Skyrim's platinum is honestly an easy enough one to attain. The only tedious part is restoring the Thieves Guild and collecting all the Daedra artifacts, and the latter is only due to Periite's quest taking 3 to 5 business days to complete, as well as a couple of missable items if you make the wrong choices. But I completed the quests, got the goodies, killed almost everyone in Skyrim, and attained the platinum trophy I'd long sought after. I also maxed out every DLC, playing Bob the Builder Simulator, going on one very long date with the best waifu in the game, and exploring the island of Solstheim, which is ironically the best part of the Skyrim video game. And trust me, that 100% is a surprise tool that'll help us later. But for now, we can continue on with our journey. Going back to sleep again. So, this video game series really doesn't understand the meaning of the word final. Final Fantasy XV is one of the video games in all time, and I use that as an endearing term. It has everything: amazing and nonsensical narrative, excellent and dreary combat, engaging and irritating side quests, something for every kind of gamer. Getting the platinum wasn't part of my plan when I started playing this game, but I fell in love with it and it just kind of came naturally. There's nothing tedious about this platinum, no bullshit tasks, you just have to finish the game. The hardest part was maxing out my survival stat, but all that took was a rubber band and letting Noctis sprint in circles for an hour while I went and did something else. Oh, and I also turned a turtle into a black hole. Fun times. I also maxed out a couple of the DLCs that I found fun, namely Ignis and Arden, but I won't be going out of my way to 100% this game because I do have some self-love left. So in 2022, I fell in love with the Fate franchise, and I eventually discovered that they made a couple of video games about it. So I played them out of order naturally, and picked up Fate Extella Link. The game was fun, not a 10 out of 10 by any means, but a cool time killer that I enjoyed my time with. I wasn't going to platinum it at first, but my friend Bovine Supreme did, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm contractually obligated to do this now. Don't worry, getting the platinum here is pretty easy. The only trophy that proved a hassle was maxing out the gallery, and I have a foolproof way to make it as easy as possible. It took 4 years, but we finally got a sequel to my favourite game ever, and that was God of War Ragnarok. The second I could get my hands on this game, I played it and I fell in love. Is it better than God of War 4? That's not a debate I'm willing to get into today. But I did know I was going to get the platinum trophy. As such, I got it fairly quickly. Yes, I needed to kill a bunch of birds and pick up a bunch of books, but this was expected, and the much larger worlds made it a fun thing to see through to the end. Minus the Vanaheim jungle, because exploring that place is a damn pain. And making things even better, we have 2 super bosses instead of 1 to fight this time. Because I guess dying to Sigrun wasn't enough to sate my masochism. Doom Eternal was a surprise hit for me. I got Doom 2016 through PlayStation Plus Extra and gave it a try, and I adored it. So naturally, I bought Doom Eternal after completing it, and found it a little underwhelming. All these new combat options, the lower ammo count, the tighter combat loop with more restrictions, it was a downgrade over Doom 2016 for me. Then I actually got good at the game, and I've never looked back. As of today, it is still the best first-person shooter of all time, barring any bloodthirsty robots that are next on my to-complete list. Platinuming the game was initially a daunting task, given how rare the trophy was. As I began making my way through the game properly, however, I discovered my fears were rather unfounded. Collect all the collectibles in a game that gives you all their locations on a map. Beat all the optional challenge rooms in a game with one of the best combat systems of all time. Master every weapon in a game where every weapon is great to use. It's just things you'd naturally do throughout playing this brilliant game. However, it's at this point that we get to the other trophies. And by that I mean, the online trophies. Oh no. These were not particularly difficult to get, but they were a grind. Things like playing as every demon, playing 25 matches, doing 5,000 damage as a demon, and killing 200 players overall was honestly not that bad of a time. It just takes a little getting good and some dedication to the game mode. Where the problems start to come up is when you have to kill a player demon with the BFG, which turns out is more easily said than done. Or the actual hardest trophy in the game, healing yourself or an ally for 50,000 health. These were the only two trophies I found actively annoying, seeing as the first is pretty tricky and the second was the most tedious grind in the game. But in the end, I did it, and the Platinum trophy was mine, and that felt damn good, seeing as I've never really been one for first-person shooters, and here I am having maxed out my favourite one ever. I then continued the hunt, and maxed out the DLC trophies too, triumphing over Horde mode and both parts of the Ancient Gods, with the only notable roadblock being the Seraphim on Extra Life mode. Always just one life short. But I persevered and I won, and of course, beating the Ancient Gods too was a formality by comparison. I'm just glad there's no trophy for beating Ultra Nightmare, or I'd still be stuck trying to get that one. Now, it was at this point that I actually decided to do my 21 Platinums challenge, and I had 16 of them by this point, or 16 and a half. I have a fairly large collection of games, so finding targets to Platinum was pretty easy, but the difficulty of those targets varied greatly. Doom 2016 had online stuff I didn't feel like getting into. Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate would take far too long, given the grind you need for some of those trophies. Skyrim PS5 would take too long to 100%, which would be mandatory in order for it to count as a full point, and I didn't want to rush my experience with the game. Fate Extella would require me to beat every level on every difficulty, and some of them under special conditions. Yeah, nah, I didn't enjoy the combat that much. Rainbow Six Siege requires me to actually be good at the game. No. Nier Automata was a strong candidate, but the tricky requirements for getting all the endings made me put it on the back burner. Genshin Impact requires me to open how many chests? Metal Gear Rising was another strong contender, as I'm already some of the way through Stormbringer, but the difficulty of the VR challenges as well as the prospect of listening to most of the codec calls made me call that one off too, at least for now. The base edition of Devil May Cry 5 is only one trophy away from being platinum, but that one trophy is worthy of legend. I'm not crazy enough to do that. Yet. A certain fish has inspired me not to give up on it forever, but now is not the time. I'm on a time limit here. Finally, Final Fantasy VII. I got everyone to level 99, got all the limit breaks, got all the gil, got all the summons. The only things I needed to do was go on a date with Barrett, and, well, actually finish the game. What's that? Why haven't I done that, seeing as this was all the way back in 2021? That is a story for another time. Initially, Final Fantasy VII was going to be my choice for the final platinum, but time limit, things change, and you'll see why. So we have 9 months to get 5 platinums. Let's do this. And what smoother gaming transition is there than going from Doom Eternal to Minecraft? This platinum was a long time coming. With the help of my friends, I'd done everything in the game long ago, with the exception of Sniper Duel, which I promptly got within 3 minutes of actively hunting for the trophy. Trophy count is at 17. Let's go! Also, fuck that achievement. The next one was honestly rather difficult. I'd done most of everything in Skyrim on the PS3 before heading over to the PS4 version back in 2016, so going back to it I expected a quick and easy cleanup. I'd already fully restored the Thieves Guild years ago, thank God, so I expected to just waltz back into my level 78 Argonian, kill Alduin, do Master Criminal, and get all 15 Daedra artifacts. Huh, I thought I would have already done that. Oh well, this won't take too long. Waking Nightmare was done within minutes, but it still didn't give me the achievement. I looked through the quest list to see which one I still needed when I realized I'd never done A Night to Remember, and this would prove to be my greatest nightmare, because Sam Glavine was nowhere to be found. I leveled up 5 separate times, travelled around every pub in Skyrim multiple times, but that damn Daedric Prince was nowhere to be found. I even tracked down and killed Sinding in prison, long story, to get the Saviour's hide in the hopes of cheating the achievement, but this too was for nothing. So reasonably, I did the only thing that made sense. Started a new character and brute forced my way through the 15 Daedric quests as fast as possible. Oh, and I couldn't cheat 2 Daedric artifacts with the Saviour's hide and Hersing's ring. Believe me, I tried. So I actually had to do the Periite quest, which takes forever because Dwarven Ruins go on forever. But hey, at least I pulled it off, and 8 years and 2 months later, this Platinum Trophy was mine. Now, in case you're worried that this is a repeat game so it only counts for half a point, I already maxed out all the DLCs on the PS4 version of Skyrim, so my trophy count is still intact. 18 down, 3 to go, and at this point I had less than 2 weeks to do it. Oh boy. So what better place to start than one of the hardest games I've ever played? Apparently, From Software is really good at making Platinum trophies for every game that isn't in the Dark Souls series, because the Elden Ring Platinum is a really good one. Collect some legendary weapons and spells, beat every boss, and get all 3 endings. It'll be my pleasure.
No, not now. No!
It is no longer my pleasure. Yeah, Elden Ring is a game that really makes you hate it at times, but going through the game on a third character was really no big request, given how good the game is. I could have used the New Game Plus character and done it in half the time, but I wanted to challenge myself. All I had to do was beat Radagon and the Elden Beast. Yep, this seems to be the experience Miyazaki wanted for me. After many attempts, many strategies, and a small amount of screaming, the Elden Ring Platinum was mine. Funnily enough, the trophy for the default ending is actually less achieved than the trophy for Age of the Stars, which is a secret ending. I guess people are that down bad for Rani, huh? I never got around to fighting Melania on that character though. I wonder if I'll ever get the chance to do that. Stop it! You've got too much on your to-do list already. Remember how I said From Software is good at making platinums? Yeah, that's only part-time. When you think Dark Souls, what do you imagine? Crushing difficulty and rewarding challenge. Sounds about right. And the platinum certainly does involve crushing difficulty. But MattTGM, I hear you ask, what could possibly be needed to get the platinum that's so bad? Must you face the hardest boss in the game? Must you beat the story with a limited number of deaths? No. You need to put on a Gold Covetous Ring plus 3, respec your build to 99 luck, have the Crystal Sage's Rapier on your hip, put this chest on your head, and run around killing the same 2 to 3 enemies over 100 times each to grind out a 1% drop Covenant item to acquire some useless spells, and then do that for every non-DLC Covenant you can pledge to. This is definitely what I came to Dark Souls for. This platinum is a grind, the most tedious one I had to do for a trophy. It would have been less awful if the online community was still active, but this is 2023. The future is now, old man. It took me a whole afternoon, but I finally did it and got the platinum of my first Soulsborne game. It definitely felt good to see it, but I was going hollow by the end of this, so don't expect me to do it again for Dark Souls 1, or God forbid Dark Souls 2. So, 20 platinums and less than a week to go. Things honestly seemed bleak. Or at least they would have been, had I not fallen in love with, and been trophy hunting, the greatest game of the year. That's right, Final Fantasy XVI returns. This brilliant masterpiece of a game is the crown jewel in my 21 Platinums tiara. Whoever designs the Final Fantasy Platinum trophies clearly knows what they're doing, because these have all been a joy to hunt for. All you have to do for this thing is, well, play the entire game. The side quests, the hunts, the trial runs, all of it. And as I gushed about earlier in this handy video, that's an absolutely fantastic time. Oh, you also need to beat the game on hard mode. A game that took 67 hours for me to beat the first time on normal mode. And this hard mode is actually difficult. Well done. Don't worry, all it took was skipping a few cutscenes and creating a really powerful build, and I was well on track to get that final trophy. After a tiny bit of ability point farming to max out all my abilities, crafting the ultimate weapon, Ultima Weapon, and enjoying the free update that came out on my birthday, thank you Square Enix, it was time to face the final boss and achieve my 21st Platinum trophy. Let's do this, Ultima. It's time for me to show you who the true god here is. And thus did our journey end. Also, it was at this point that I realized that for that final boss, I had completely the wrong gear equipped. But hey, you can't say I don't challenge myself. 21 platinum trophies. Most collected for a hobby. 5 collected on a mission. All of them now part of history in video form. After this experience, what did I learn? What can I take away from this? That I don't know how I ever tolerated Skyrim on the PS3? That the Batman Arkham Predator maps in Arkham Knight are the only good ones in the series on average? That I'm glad Mojang hasn't imported the PC Minecraft advancements into PS5 Minecraft yet? The long answer cut short is yes. All of it, yes. I only platinum hunt for games that I really like, or when I want to make a cool lineup of platinum trophies in my gallery back to back, so I really didn't lose any of my love for these games while doing these trophy runs. I did, however, grow more critical of trophy criteria, such as ones that involve excessive grinding or just completely nonsensical tasks. Trophies should reward completion or skill-based challenges, not how many Lothric Night Pants I can fit into my inventory all at once. It's why I found games like Elden Ring or God of War Ragnarok easy to trophy hunt. All you need to do is dedicate your time to game completion of a fantastic game. Pick up a few collectibles and kill some tough bosses, just the way I like it. So, the moral of the story is, game developers, please don't leave our trophies down to RNG or having unlimited free time. I do have work in the coal mines in roughly 5 minutes after all. And now for the best of the best in a handful of categories. Bitches love categories. Hardest platinum trophy, Batman Arkham City. I'm not kidding when I say I'd spend an hour on a single challenge map because RNG screwed me over or I slipped up. I do not want to revisit these ever again. No, you cannot make me. Easiest platinum trophy, Spiderman PS4. Getting this trophy felt so natural, it was hardly like I was platinum hunting in the first place. Easiest 100%, Bloodborne. Yes, it's only got one DLC, so it's not the fairest of examples, but these trophies have nothing extra stupid that they ask you to do, so with a bit of looking around, this one also comes easily. Hardest 100%, Batman Arkham Knight. Those challenge maps. Yes, they certainly make me feel challenged by the end of it. Worst platinum trophy, Dark Souls 3, Batman Arkham Origins, and Doom Eternal in a shared spot. The grind on Dark Souls 3 was tedious and boring. The grind on Doom Eternal's multiplayer wasn't quite as bad, but still felt unnecessarily long, mainly relegated to the healing trophy. And Batman Arkham Origins Platinum is impossible. Game developers, please don't put online trophies in your single player game. Least favorite platinum trophy, Dark Souls 3, and it sucks to say that. It's just a tedious grind. At least with Fate Extella Link, I could just play a fun mission over and over and experiment with different servants. If it wasn't for those Covenant spells, Dark Souls 3 wouldn't be nearly my least favorite. It'd probably be these. But with the Batman Arkham challenge maps, I actually had to get good at the game. That was at least skill based. This is killing one enemy over and over for a very rare drop. That's boring. Obviously, if the online was still thriving, it'd be a different story, but I can only judge based on my own experience, and as such, Dark Souls 3 lands down here. Favorite platinum trophy? Final Fantasy 16. The perfect platinum trophy. Beat every mission and side quest in the game, play around with each of the awesome powers, and then beat the game on the challenging difficulty. This, to me, is how platinum trophies should be. Just pure fun game completion with a couple of side tasks that are actually fun. Not balls-crushingly hard. Looking at you, Mortal Kombat 9. And with that, it's all over. Thank you all for watching this video, and I'm happy to announce that I am officially back. Though I must warn you that I will be disappearing again for a while, as I'm now working on a video that I'm really excited to release. On another note, I'll see you all again in 1 year, when I get 42 platinum trophies before I turn 22, and achieve the meaning of life. Or go clinically insane. Or both, because I am an overachiever. Thank you everyone for sticking around, I hope you did enjoy, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you all in the next video.